What's up, world? This your boy Tommy Mav, and I just came to just do a real quick video, because the truth of the matter is, I really don't have a whole lot of time to do these videos, so I try to do them when I get the opportunity to. Um, and the argument I want to make right now is first and foremost, anybody who didn't see this coming from Kevin Durant shouldn't be analyzing basketball. Secondly, kudos to Kevin Durant. Amazing, amazing performance. Thirdly, Jordan fans come and mess everything up, right? There's always a level, right, of understanding that most people will have, and then they'll go along with that, right? They'll stay within the guidelines of common sense. But when you have something that generally pulls you outside of that common sense to a level of just stupidity, it's generally driven by emotion, right? Jordan fans are purely driven by emotions. Most of them logically couldn't tell you any tangible reason why they think Michael Jordan is better than LeBron outside of fanciful, emotional, subjective things that they themselves think that has nothing to do and can't be proven. So that's the first thing. Nobody cares about Jordan fans. They are irrational. They're stupid. So when you're getting all these people saying dumb shit like, "Oh, Kevin Durant, LeBron never could play like this. This is what a star does when his player gets hurt. This is what happens when a situation gets to a win or die situation." All of these things, those are Jordan fans, okay? Those are Jordan/Kobe fans. You're not going to be able to have common sense conversations with them. They know they lost the argument for the most part, so they resorted to like a 3-year-old or a spoiled girl who, when she's wrong, she won't just say she's wrong. She'll just start screaming a whole bunch of stuff and then start attacking you personally, instead of actually staying on topic to what you're arguing about, because she knows if she stays on topic, she loses the argument. That is Jordan fans. You just have to deal with them. When you see these irrational comments, when you say how can someone with common sense write that, that's a Jordan fan. Don't ignore Jordan fans. They're morons. They're stupid. They're not worth arguing with. Okay. So now that we've established that, I want to say this: Kevin Durant played a masterful game last night. There is no way around it. No way that I wanted to be around. I was rooting for him. I knew once they started talking that crap about, oh, this is what Kevin Durant has. He's not used to playing teams by himself. He's used to having all stars. I'm like, that's Kevin Durant. You know what I'm saying? I remember thinking that the whole ride home. That's Kevin Durant. Like, Kevin Durant doesn't get defended. He misses shots. Okay? Kevin Durant, it's only a matter of time before his shot starts falling. And the more he shoots, the more rhythm he's going to have. And the more rhythm he has, the last thing the Bucks want is for Kevin Durant to shoot more. Okay? Not that it inevitably means they'll win. It's just going to make it harder for them to win. Because Kevin Durant is a very, 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 very efficient scorer. Okay? He doesn't take bad shots, because every shot he takes is a good shot. He can shoot over anybody. Problem is when the shot's not falling, you get what you got the last 2 games. When the shot is falling, you get what you get tonight. And when you have the ball, with Kyrie Irving, say what you want, but Kyrie Irving is not a point guard. He's a shooting guard. So him playing alongside Kevin Durant, is going to take away from Kevin Durant's shots, which is what you don't want. And 2, he takes a lot of inefficient, bad shots. He has to dribble to usually get his shot, which ends up consuming shot clock, and then he'll pass it to Kevin Durant, or some open person with seconds remaining where they have to fire up a bad shot to forsake himself shooting up a bad shot. So I don't think Kyrie Irving is a great fit for Kevin Durant. I never thought it was a great fit for Kevin Durant. I thought it was equivalent to 2 all-star players being thrown on a high school team. You know how they do that, where they'll take a guy from like he's like the best on this team, he's like the best on the team, and they'll throw him in there. They don't play well together, but they're so good and they're playing such inferior competition that they're able to score a lot of points. But when it comes down to a situation where they have to work as a team, they have problems. What the Bucks did wrong in that game was they slowed. At the beginning of the game they were slowing the game down and they were putting themselves in a position to get great shots. Then they got carried away. They wanted to blow them out, so they started playing fast pace. When you start playing fast pace against the Nets, you will lose because that is their offense. That's what they do. Their offense is predicated on getting out and shooting before the defense can set up, or getting as many 3-point shots as you can. When you are shooting like crazy, or shooting with 15 seconds left on the clock, 12 seconds left on the clock, you're doing all this. They don't play defense because they want you to either shoot and miss. That's their ideal mindset. You miss, they grab it off, and then they run. And you're usually a man down because they shoot the ball ahead. So somebody's going to pop open. That works for them. So they want you shooting early in the shot clock, and they generally are not a good defensive team, so you're going to get a good shot. Even if you wait until 5 seconds left, you're going to get a good shot, unless you just toss it to Giannis, who can't shoot a 3, and just ask him to go ISO. You can't ask the guy who has no perimeter threat to go ISO with 2 people just standing under the rim. Okay? This is why the last 2 games it worked for me. You know why? Because they were going through Chris Middleton. And I stated that they should be going through Chris Middleton. They should not be going through Giannis. Their first option should be Chris Middleton. Giannis should be able to be like LeBron. He should look for his shot when he can get it. But you should not be running sets for Giannis. Not with the way the Brooklyn Nets are playing them, by just standing under the rim and then jumping, and the ref are giving Giannis no calls. Every call is going for them. Every 50-50 call is going for the Nets. Because, truth of the matter, they can't afford to lose Kevin Durant, too. LeBron is out. If they lose Kevin Durant, they're done. Their ratings are going to go right into the shitter. Because I think their ratings are already starting to sink now. I mean, I don't know, but I mean, let me go check. Because I think the NBA ratings without LeBron, playoff ratings without LeBron, it are horrible. Yeah, it went down. They were up. But they said they were up in the Nets and the Mavericks. And so both of those teams lost. I mean, the Mavericks lost, and they're not going to lose the Nets. So any 50-50 call, they're going to give to the Nets. Any chance the Nets have at winning the game, they're going to give them that, because they can't afford to lose the Nets. They just can't. Their ratings are going to go into the crapper. When they lose Kevin Durant, they're done. So ideally, is it some incentive for the referees to do that? I don't think it's a memorandum sent around saying, hey, give all 50-50 calls to the Nets. But I also don't think the referees understand what the deal is. And they don't want their money is wrapped up into these contracts too. Ratings go down, sponsors go down, money goes down. I don't blame them. I mean, they can't afford. I don't want them to lose Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, like I said, right now, my 2 favorite players in the league are LeBron James and Kevin Durant. The only 2 I like to watch. All right, I don't watch anybody else. I don't watch Kawhi. I know he got a dunk the other day. I couldn't give a shit less. I don't watch Kawhi. He's boring as hell to watch play. And he doesn't do anything exciting. Paul George is boring as hell. So it's like the Suns. I love CP3. I'm happy for him. Don't watch it. I try to watch him. Devin Booker is boring as hell to watch. And CP3 is boring as hell to watch. So I don't really like to watch them either. Who is it? Atlanta 76ers with Joel Embiid, boring as hell. I don't watch them. I mean, you're struggling right now. They're struggling with the Hawks, and people are like, oh, it means they're going to lose in that. No, it doesn't. What it means is the Hawks are made to stop the 76ers. They have Capella. He's tall, he's long, and he's a great defender. So he's going to give Ben Simmons, their biggest two contributors, Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, he's going to give them problems because they have him, and then they have number 20, I can't remember his name, the power forward, the uber athletic guy. Those are two things that Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid don't need. They don't need people who can clog the lane. They can't shoot, so it doesn't matter. They can shoot over Trae Young. They're not fast. He's not quick enough to get around him, and even if he is, Trae Young's fast enough to slow him down. And now he's going one-on-one with this uber athletic guy, and I can't remember his name. You guys know what I'm talking about. He made the All-Star team, or he was in a dunk contest or something like that. And Capella. So people are trying to act like that means that the 76 suck. Like, yeah, I think it's just funny. Like, no, they're plenty good. They're just playing a team that matches up well with them. They don't need the Trae Young. Trae Young doesn't need to make it to the rim. He gets foul calls and he shoots threes. And he gets assists. He works everybody in. It's just a better situation. Kevin Durant, getting back to Kevin Durant, watching him play last night, it was obvious. Kevin Durant did what he needed to do. He did everything he needed to do. And this is what I was saying at the beginning of the year when I said I was so Kevin Durant without stars is more dangerous to me than Kevin Durant with stars. Now, I don't know if that would have been the case in 2010. It was definitely the case in 2021 because I watched him with the Warriors when all their players was out. I watched him at the beginning of the year when Kyrie Irving took a sabbatical and James Harden was out. Kevin Durant is a great player. He's a good passer. He's a good shooter. He's a good rebounder. He can make up for a lot of things. Now, can he kill you in the post? No. If his shot's not falling, then pretty much everything goes by the wayside. So it really is a situation where he has to be making a shot for everything else to work out. Like somebody like LeBron. LeBron ain't got to even shoot, and he can destroy a team. CP3 ain't got to shoot, and he can destroy a team. That's the difference. Kevin Durant has to shoot to destroy a team. His shot has to be on. Because he's not reading defense, he's not setting things up. He generally is just doing ISO and finding an open man when they double team him. So if his shot's not falling, they don't have to double team him. So now he basically has to keep shooting until his shot falls, and he ends up with 9 of 25 and 11 of I think 27 or something like that. The game before that. KD's a great player, but this is what makes me laugh, and this is what going back to the Jordan fans. He had a great game. And now everybody's saying, "Well, he was bad. It was the greatest. It was the greatest performance of the modern era." Like these guys, like I never. Okay, first and foremost, let's start out with LeBron's game against Golden State Warrior, Game 1, against pretty much a USA Olympic team. He scored 51 points, 8 assists, 8 rebounds. Right. Now, that wasn't even the first 40-point game he had that postseason. That postseason where he was without any stars or any, not even like, he was devoid. His second option was Jeff Green, right? Just like Kevin Durant was last night. I mean, well, if you take out Harden, because Harden was still assisting and running the offense, his shot wasn't falling. But Kevin, if you think that James Harden had no effect on the game last night, then you don't understand basketball. Harden was very pivotal in setting them up, getting them in their sets, handling the ball, freeing KD up. He did a lot of great things. Now, he wasn't the same Harden that could take people off the dribble and stuff like he normally does, but he definitely stepped up and did what he was supposed to do. Now, that being said, LeBron had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 40-point games, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and another 5 games where he scored more than 45 points. And in most of those games where he did that, he had triple doubles. He had a 42, 12, and 10 game. He had a 43, 14, and 10 game. He had a 35, 15, and 15 game. So what I'm trying to say to you is what you saw Kevin Durant do last night, LeBron has been doing his entire career. He's been doing that forever, right? So, does Kevin Durant have a case to say he's the best player in the world? Oh, hell yeah. I mean, at this point, it's hard to deny he's not the greatest player in the world, right? I mean, LeBron came back. He did not look like LeBron. He didn't have the same lift. He didn't have the same quickness, his burst. He didn't have any of that. So as of right now, since the last time we seen LeBron, Kevin Durant is clearly the best player on the family. But that's not saying much, right? Because LeBron's not LeBron. And Kevin Durant has played like shit in this series, right? So you look at situations like, yeah, he had a great game. He has played like crap in this series. And he really got helped by the fact that Jeff Green hit 8 threes. So they couldn't they couldn't help off of Jeff Green anymore, which allowed him to get a lot of one-on-ones. Now the Bucks are morons, and I'm gonna do whatever. I'm gonna trap the ball, go 4-1 if I got to, trap the ball, get the ball out of Kevin Durant's hand, and let somebody else beat us. They didn't do that. They kept trying to put Middleton on him one-on-one as if that's gonna change anything. Yes, Middleton and Tucker helped in the game before that, but that's an anomaly. As I said, they didn't stop Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant missed shots. That's not the same thing, okay? Kevin Durant missed shots. You don't defend Kevin Durant. You hope he misses. Okay? Anybody who's dumb enough to believe you defend Kevin Durant, you're retarded. You don't defend Kevin Durant. You don't slow him down. You don't stop him. Kevin Durant just misses sometimes. And he generally has little to nothing to do. Not to say PJ Tucker didn't do a good job on him in the game before. But Kevin Durant is going to, and now the problem now with the situation, as I said, when you got Jeff Green stepping up the way he did, it alleviates so much pressure off him because Jeff Green is the 4. You're going to have to take PJ Tucker, because before what they were doing was they were PJ Tucker, and then they were swarming with a taller guy like a Middleton and a Brook Lopez. But at first he started doing that pick and roll, and and Lopez was so deep in the paint that you can't do that to Kevin Durant. And then the shot got on. He was taking it all day. I'm like, what is Lopez doing? This is not Bruce Brown. Step up. You have to step up. That's Kevin Durant. You're not gonna give him a free throw. That's a layup. You can't give Kevin Durant no free throw mid range. That's a layup for Kevin Durant. So he did that a couple of times. That the lead dropping, and then Jeff Green start mashing threes. Before you know it, it's the 16-point lead gone. And it's because the Bucks panicked. They saw that they were going to lose. They saw these guys catching momentum, and they completely panicked. Giannis starts trying to prove he's the best player in the world. Drew Holiday started trying to go ISO. Middleton just disappeared. They stopped running stats, or if they ever did, run stats for Chris Middleton, because they never do. They never run stats for Chris Middleton to try to get him the same way the Nets were running pick and rolls and stuff for Kevin Durant. Nobody runs pick and rolls for Chris Middleton. All the best they ask Chris Middleton to do is either stand out and wait on Giannis to pass the ball, or spread out and let him go ISO, or throw it to him in a block ISO. Like, they don't run pick and rolls for him. They don't run backdoor stuff where he can pass it. They don't do anything like that for Chris Middleton. So I think the Bucks almost asked for this, because they could have easily turned this game around by just slowing the game down. This is what, and everybody, they were all laughing the last two games. Oh, they lost Kyrie. I'm like, they didn't lose because they lost no Kyrie Irving. They lost because the Bucks was smart enough. Even that game when they scored 80 points, everybody was like, well, that was horrible. I'm like, no, that was smart. This is what I said after 2 games. I said after the first two games, I said I thought those first 2 games was an anomaly. I think the Bucks are going to slow the game down, work, and they're going to end up winning. And they did. They won the next 2 games by slowing the game down. Slow it down. Make them beat you in your half-court offense and half-court defense. You're going to beat them 9 out of 10 times, because they are, even though they're great shooters, their 2 best shooters rely on shooting bad shots. Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. Now, they're going to make a lot of those shots, but they're going to miss a lot of those shots as well. And if you slow it down, they can't afford to miss as often, which makes them press more, which makes them have more, their shots have more pressure to them. And pretty soon they go into these slumps and you got them. But the Nets didn't do that. They got out to a 16-point lead. It's like they kept trying to break instead of slowing the game down, because it's draining to take 24 seconds off of the clock and then go make a layup or get fouled or make 2 shots. That's 10 times better than you walking up and shooting a 3 with 19 seconds left on the play clock. That's not hurting them. They're going to come down, shoot a 3 right back, and y'all right back in the same position. You go down and try to shoot that 3 again, miss, then they come back and hit another one. Now they evaporated 3 points off the lead. You come running down once again, you 12 seconds, you trying to go up. You got to do what Chris Paul does. You got to do what LeBron does. Even if you miss, if you take 30 seconds, there's only 12 minutes in the quarter. Right? You take 30 seconds off the clock every time you go down there, and every time you score, it's back-breaking. Because the time just gets consumed. That's why the Lakers couldn't come back against the Suns. Because every time they did, Chris Paul would go in there, he would slow the game down to almost a snail pace. Making sure he's not going to give you he's going to run out the clock so you don't have a chance to steal the game. The Bucks were trying to blow it open. They were running too fast, they were gunning. And he shot him in the foot. And the thing about, but like I said, I think next game they're gonna be smarter. I don't think Jeff Green is gonna have the game he had this game. People gonna circle jerk about the game Kevin Durant had, as they should. He had a great game, but it's a game. LeBron had to do that throughout the entire playoffs. Steph had to do this all year. Damian Lillard had those games you talking about that Kevin Durant had tonight. Players have those every other week. I mean, you can even make the argument that Devin Booker against the Lakers had a game like that, where they can't miss. Right? It's not that odd. It's not that crazy. But because Kevin Durant does it and they want to use him to fuel stories, they're going to make this bigger than what it is. You know what I'm saying? I mean, how many games did Steph have like this year? How many games this year that, because everybody's saying, well, he doesn't have any talent. Well, Steph didn't have any talent around him. And he was having these type of nights almost every other night. Damian Lillard, same thing. He didn't have a whole lot of help around him. I mean, C.J. McCollum was out almost all year. And he was having games like this every other night. So it puts in context, right? Yeah, he had 17 rebounds, which is impressive. And he had a monster game. Great game. Kudos to him. But it's one thing to do that one game. It's another thing to do that for a series. I can almost guarantee you next night, the next game, the Bucks are gonna figure out how he beat them this game. They're gonna figure out what he liked, where he was getting his shot from, what the Brooklyn Nets were doing. They're gonna realize that Jeff Green is Jeff Green. He'll start missing those shots he was making the night before. All of a sudden, they're gonna start coming off of him and trapping Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant gonna be just like he was the game before last, like a deer in the headlights, having no idea how to run the offense. Different situation if James Harden comes to full health. If James Harden evolves to full health, then that changes the whole thing. You can't trap Kevin Durant anymore. You know what I mean? Because Harden will eat your lunch. You're done. So I think the understanding is that they should work, but I think if Harden is like he was this game, where squirrel fart, like it was nothing. You know what I'm saying? So you want to worry about James Harden? Be my guest. If at this point anybody can beat me but Kevin Durant, because I think even fully healthy, I'll take Harden trying to beat me over Kevin Durant. But like I said before, he played with Kyrie Irving and they couldn't double him. And he was just and PJ Tucker was making it hard on him, and he was missing a lot of easy shots. But you see how that tempo works. He's missing free throws, all this other type of stuff. So next game, they know what to look for. The Bucks know what to look for. They're going to come at them hard. And without Kyrie Irving, the Bucks are almost talented team. And I think they will win. I think they will win Game 6. Unless, like I said, if some anomaly happens, like Jeff Green scored like 30 again. But to the most part, I don't see that happening. I see the Bucks ramping them in Game 6 and coming back in Game 7 and finishing them off. Because I think this was kind of a last hurrah by Kevin Durant. Because I really don't think he has the talent to really, around him, to really overcome it. And he's not built to make other players better. Most of the time, shooters are great, but they don't generally make other players better because they don't usually alleviate the pressure off the other player. Because when you shoot, most of the time, people aren't getting open shots, right? If I'm going ISO looking for my shot, most of the time people aren't coming off their man to watch me shoot. They're going to stay on their man. So the man usually is not getting these open threes like they would when you have a driver like a Luka Doncic or LeBron that penetrates and passes it. People are shooting wide open shots there. Kevin Durant doesn't do that. So, amazing game by Kevin Durant. And hopefully he keeps it up. Because I don't want to see the Nets lose. As much as I love Chris Paul, I damn sure won't be watching nothing besides the finals. If it get, the third or fourth game of the final. Anyway, that's all I want to say, y'all. Please comment. Let me know what y'all think and thumbs it up if you like it. Alright, y'all. Peace.